Hi there. Today's lecture is about motivation. So let's get started. In today's lecture, the contents we are going to cover is motivation, equity theory, expectancy theory, reinforcement theory, and goal setting theory. So how do we define motivation? Motivation is the set of forces that initiates, directs, and make people persist in their efforts to accomplish a goal. We may say motivation is to encourage people to do something, encouragement to achieve their goals. And there are different steps of motivations. Initiation of effort is concerned with the choices people make about how much effort they put forth in their jobs. So how much energy they have to use to achieve their goal. Direction of effort is concerned with the choices people making in deciding where to put forth their efforts in their job. So directions are very important. Sometimes people do work hard, but at the end of the day, they don't achieve anything because they were not heading towards right directions. So efforts are important, and at the same time, selecting the right direction, they are equally important. Persistence of efforts concerned with the choices people make about how long they will put forth their efforts in their job before reducing or eliminating their task. Now, what are the basics of motivation? Now, there is a job performance. Job performance is how well someone performs the requirements of the job. So how a particular worker or how a particular employee do their job, how well he or she does their job. Job performance could be measured by a simple formula. We have a motivation multiplied with ability and with situation constraints. So as we already discussed, what is a motivation? It is a degree to which someone works hard to do the job well. And then we have ability. Ability is a degree to which the workers possess the knowledge, the skills, the talent needed to do a job well. How much ability, the skills, the experience a particular person has to do their job well. Situational constraints, as the name says, these are the limitations that are usually over the control of the workers. So these are the factors that are beyond the control of the workers or the individual employees. And these could be the tools, the resources, the procedures, the job influence, or the job performance. So when we multiply motivation, ability, and situation constraints, that will give you the job performance. Now, needs, now this is famously called Maslow hierarchy of needs. So what are the Maslow hierarchy of needs given by Maslow? Now, the physical or the psychological requirement that must be met to ensure the survival and the well-being. So that is number one. So these are the physiological needs, or we can say that the basic needs, we can say. And or we can say these are the basic needs could be the water, the food, the shelter, and so on. And once the basic needs are being fulfilled, and then the next level are the safety needs. Safety such as physical or economic needs, people, they protect their life, they try to keep their lives safer. So that is stage number or level number two. One, the safety needs are being fulfilled, then we move on to number three level, that is called love and belongingness. So it is what these are the friendship, love, interaction. Every person, they love to be cared, they love to be respected, and so on. And then we have the esteem. Now, esteem include achievement and recognition. And then we have the self-actualization. Self-actualization are the upper level where include where the individuals, where the people, they try to utilize their full potential, and at the self-actualization they try to achieve everything. In other words, they try to conquer the world. Or we can say self-actualization is a place, or it is a level where you need to become head of the state. Now, there are some basics of motivation. For example, rewards. So we have different types of rewards. In fact, there are two types: extrinsic rewards and intrinsic rewards. or sometimes we call these extrinsic rewards as external rewards, and intrinsic rewards are internal rewards. Extrinsic rewards are usually tangible, visible to others, and given to employees, contingents, because of their performances or doing some particular task or activities. So what are the extrinsic rewards? These are the wages, the salaries, the perks, a company maintained car, a big house to live in, so medical insurance, pension plans. So these are what? These could be easily noticed by other people. So they are tangible. So we call those tangible rewards as extrinsic rewards. Whereas the intrinsic rewards are the peace of mind, the joy, the excitement the people have. So these are the natural rewards associated with performing a task of activity of his own sake. Now, these are intangible, as I already explained, such as happiness, peace of mind, a sense of ownership, a sense of happiness, excitement, a feeling of responsibility, a chance to learn something new, or simply you just deal it as a fun, you keep it as a fun. So that is what these are the intrinsic rewards, or we may say intrinsic rewards are peace of mind, happiness. What is equity theory? If you can see this illustration, we have inputs and outputs. Inputs means how much efforts the employees put for, in regards to that efforts, what output, what results they achieve. So it states that people will be motivated when they perceive that they are treated fairly. It stresses the importance of perceptions. So regardless of actual rewards of the individuals they receive, they must perceive in relation to the others that they are being treated fairly. So equity theory is simply based on the phenomena that do the people they are treated fairly. And there are two or three components of equity theory. So number one is input. So input is the contribution of the employees make to the organization. For example, their education, their training, their experiences, their efforts, or number of hours they worked. And the outputs are the end results. So the outputs are the rewards employees receive for their contribution to their organization. Reference means people, they compare themselves with their colleagues, whether they are getting the same wages, whether they are treated differently. So they compare themselves with their friends, with their colleagues. So that is called reference. So here, whom people compare themselves, it will determine if they have been treated fairly. So we have output input ratio. So output input ratio is what? It is an employee perception of how the rewards received from an organization compare with the employee's contribution to the organization. In other words, now the efforts the candidates or the workers they put for, do they get the rewards that could be justified? So that is called output input ratio. Do they have a good ratio? And then we have under reward. As the name implies, under reward simply means that they have put forward more and more efforts, but they are not being given the good rewards. They are being given lesser rewards. So in which the people, or you are getting fewer outcome relative to the inputs than you reference is getting. Over rewards are that in which you are getting more outcomes relative to inputs than your reference. For example, individuals sometimes they don't work very hard, but they are very lucky to get more output. So we call this term as over reward. They are being given rewards that they don't deserve to have those rewards, but they are lucky to have those over rewards. And then we have motivation with equity theory. So here we have the formula. Here we have inputs, we have outputs, and that is equal to others outcome and others input. So what practical steps can managers make to use equity theory to motivate employees? So managers, the organization, they can use the equity theory to motivate, to encourage their workers. So how can they do it? They must look for and correct major inequalities if there are any kind of inequalities, if the people they are not being treated fairly, if there is any kind of discrimination, so all those inequalities must be settled. So that is number one. Reduce employees' input. Now, if the people they are working very hard, but they don't get the equal output, so the another way is to reduce their efforts. Number three, make sure the decision-making processes are fair. Do give some space to the workers, to the employees. Listen to their views, listen to their statements, and if possible, encourage them to make their own decisions. We have distributive justice and procedural justice. Now, what is a distributive justice? The perceived degree to which the outcomes and the rewards are distributed and allocated. How the rewards are being distributed. Do the managers, they distribute these rewards fairly among these workers? Procedural justice, the perceived fairness or process used to reward allocation of the decisions. And then what processes the managers they follow to distribute these justice or these rewards, or in other words, do they follow the right procedures to distribute these justice? Expectancy theory and components. We have, if you just look into illustration, we have expectancy, instrumentality, and balance. People will be motivated to the extent to which they believe that the effort will lead to good performance, that good performance will be rewarded, and that they will be offered attractive rewards. So what is a balance? Now, balance is the attractiveness or desirability of a reward or outcome. If the outcome is very attractive, there will be more and more high balance. Expectancy is what? It is a perceived relationship between effort and performance. If workers or the employees they have high expectations, they will put forward more and more efforts, and that more and more effort will lead to good performances. Instrumentality is what? The perceived reward between performance and reward. It means instrumentality is what? That they perceive the relationship between performance and rewards. They are going to work hard, they will achieve good performances, and ultimately the good performances will lead to good rewards. So that is called instrumentality. So how the organization or how the managers they can use the expectancy theory to motivate their workers or motivate their employees. Now, so what is equity theory? Equity theory is what? Systematically gather information to find out what employees want from their jobs, and then the managers organization they have to take specific steps to link rewards to individual performance clearly and understandable to the employees. In other words, whatever tasks they are being given to the workers, that could be easily understandable to the workers. Empower employees to make decisions if the management really wants to believe that the hard work and effort will lead to good performances. So give some freedom to the workers and employees, make them their own decisions. It's not only that they are going to make the high level decisions, but at least whatever task, whatever activities they are being given, they have to make their own decisions. So that's how the manager they can empower their employees or their workers. Now, reinforcement theory. Now, before I explain what is a reinforcement theory, what is a behavior? So what is a behavior? It is a function of is consequently that behavior is followed by positive consequences that occurs more frequently, and that behavior followed by negative consequences that occur less frequently. So positive reinforcement, and then we have a negative reinforcement. Now here you can see positive reinforcement, then we have the negative reinforcement, here we have a positive punishment, and then we have a negative punishment. I'm going to explain further. So what is reinforcement? Reinforcement means that keep pushing yourself, doing that activity over and over again. So that is called reinforcing yourself. So it is a process of changing behavior by changing the consequences that follows the behavior. So there are reinforcement contingencies. Now these are the cause and effect relations between performance of specific behaviors and specific consequences. Then we have the schedule of reinforcement. These are the rules that specify what behaviors will be reinforced and schedule with those consequences will be delivered. Now, if you just have a look into this illustration, here we have a positive reinforcement. So it says what? When new behaviors add positive consequences. Now, when we will do that activity, because we know at the end of that activity we are being going to get good reward. So we are going to reinforce ourselves, and that is called positive reinforcement. And then we have a negative reinforcement. When new behavior remove negative consequences. For example, the organization, they make this policy that if you're late by 2 hours, 1 day wages will be deducted. So people or the workers will start coming to the offices on time so that they are not late from their work. So 1 day wages, they must not be deducted. So they are going to avoid that behavior. So that is called negative reinforcement. They will push themselves to come early to their offices to avoid negative reward. So that's called negative reinforcement. And then we have a punishment. As the name says, punishment is what? It weakens the behavior, okay, because of the negative consequences. Extinction means that we no longer practice that activity, we no longer practice that behavior, and slowly and gradually that behavior will be terminated. So here are the simple definitions. Now, positive reinforcement is strengthens the behavior by following behavior with desirable consequences, as I already explained that because at the end of this behavior we will get the good results. So that is called positive rewards or positive reinforcement. So for example, a student work hard to get a good grades, A grades in their examination. So that is called positive reinforcement. Negative reinforcement strengthens behavior by withholding an unpleasant consequences when employee perform a specific behavior. So I give you an example that people start coming to the offices on time. So because they have a policy, the organization, that if they're late by 1 hour, 2 hours, 1 day wages will be deducted. So in order to avoid that negative behavior, they will reinforce themselves to come on time. So that is called negative reinforcement. Punishment weakens behavior by following behavior with undesirable consequences. So when the little kids, they misbehave, their parents, they punish them. So that little boy or little girl will avoid that behavior because there is a fear that if they are going to do that activity, so they will be punished at the end. Extinction is the positive consequences that is no longer allowed to follow a previously reinforced behavior, thus weakening behavior. So if you do not practice that behavior, 1 day slowly and gradually that activity will be ended. Now, the simple example is that smoking. We all say that smoking is injurious to health. Now, people that who smoke, what if I give him or give them advice that why don't you quit smoking? Now, how can they quit smoking? Now, what if slowly and gradually they stop smoking? 1 day they will completely quit smoking. So that is called extinction. So they will break up the habit of smoking. Now, what is goal setting theory and components? So we can say that as the name says, so people will be motivated to the extent to which they accept specific, challenging goals and receive feedback that indicates their progress toward goal achievement. People will be more motivated if they are being given challenging tasks. If the workers, if they are being given so simple tasks that anyone can do it, there is no motivated. So that they will be not motivated. And then we have a goal specificity. It is the extent to which goals are detailed, exact, and unambitious. Goal difficulty is that how difficult are the goals to achieve. sometimes the goals, they are set so high that the workers, they fail to achieve those goals. So make sure that the goals are achievable. Goal acceptance, the extent to which people understand and agree to goals. Do the workers or do the employees, they accept the goals, they are ready, they are willing to do those objectives. And then number 4 is the performance feedback, information about the quality of the best performances or the past performances, which indicates the progress is being made towards the accomplishment of a goal. Now, it is very important for any organization to give the feedback to the workers to determine how good or how bad they are performing. Particularly if the workers, if they are performing below the standards, then they must be given the continuous feedback that they need to improve their performances. I hope you enjoy my lecture. Thank you for listening.